Okay, now let's say that consortium board that started with 9 members, let's say they decide to increase it to 10 members. They're going to have to go back and use the Hamilton method a second time. Now, the number of stockholders hasn't changed. So when you're looking at your percentages, Naxum still has 47, and Aerocoast 37, and Eurobile is 10. Those percentages have not changed. What has changed is the number of members on the board. So now you have to take their percentages times 10, and then when you look at them, Naxon gets 4, there's the 4, and then 3.7, so they get 3, and 1.6, so they get 1, but 4 and 3 and 1 adds up to 8. They're supposed to be 10 now. So now there's 2 more seats. So now you have to go and look at, okay, who has the largest fractional part? And your fractional parts for 0.7, well, I guess I could do it over here, 0.7, 0.7, and 0.6. And there's 2 extra seats. So you're going to give one of them right here, you're going to add 1 because of the 0.7. And this one gets an extra 1 because of the 0.7. So now Naxon gets 5. Aeroco gets 4, but Eurobile loses 1. Remember when it was 9, they were given the extra seats. But now that it's 10, they're still stuck at their 1 position there. Well, that's not fair. So anyway, that's what can happen when you increase the size of the board, but the population doesn't change. So, yep, that's the Alabama paradox right there. All right. And we're going to move on and talk about different ways to measure the fairness. And the first thing we need to talk about is the average constituency. And to calculate the average constituency, you're going to take your population of your state or your stockholders or the number of people that work at your office or the number of students, whatever it is, that you're dealing with. And then you're going to divide that by the number of representatives from the state. And then what you do is you're going to compare them. If you compare the representation of 2 states, A and B, we would say that state A is more poorly represented than state B if the average constituency of A is greater than the average constituency of B. Now, when I explain this in class, I usually give an example of like elementary teachers, because you can go into any elementary school and let's say there might be 4 different 3rd grade teachers, and one teacher may have a ratio of 25 students in her class to that one teacher, but down the hall there might be another teacher that has 30 in her class. So the population of the state, in this case, that would be the number of students, right? And then the number of representatives in the state, that is the one teacher. And so 25 to 1, 25 divided by 1 is 25, and 30 divided by 1 is 30. So if this is state B and this is state A, or classroom B and classroom A, I'm trying to go with what they're saying, we would say that state A is more poorly represented than state B if the average constituency of A is greater than the average constituency of B. So obviously this teacher here has more kids to deal with than the other one. So those students are more poorly represented because their teacher has to divide herself up amongst a whole bunch of people. So, for example, in the year 2005, Wisconsin had a population of 5,479,000 people. and they had 8 representatives. So if you take and I can't remember what color I used, was it the pink? I think it was. The population of Wisconsin, that's this number right here, and you divide it by the number of representatives allocated, that's 8. When you're done, you're going to get this number. That means that for each one of those 8 representatives, each one of them is assigned 684,875 different people who live in Wisconsin. And that means that on any given day, one of those representatives could get 684,875 phone calls bitching at them about something going on in Wisconsin that they want to have fixed. Because that's what your representatives are for, right? So then you go down to Texas. You go to Texas, and Texas has a population of this. So the population of Texas is the 21,487,000. And they have 32 representatives. So the denominator is the number of representatives, and that's 32. And then when you divide that, you get 671,469. So you have to compare these two numbers. Whichever one is larger is the one that is more poorly represented. And so in this case, Wisconsin people who live there, residents, there you go, the residents of Wisconsin are more poorly represented because each one of their reps has to deal with a much larger number of people. And that is what average constituency is all about.